Hey guys, welcome to Take Action Training that just so happens to be on Tuesdays if you're catching it live. If you're catching it on the replay, thank you very much. Try to catch us live so we can answer your questions live. I am Julie and this is
Jess. And we are
Socially
inclined. We're also giant nerds in case this is your first time joining us, but welcome. I'm going to drop today's resource in the chat. We are talking about Facebook groups, but the conversation's a little different than the one we talked about a few weeks ago, where we gave you the ins and outs on how to start a group and how to grow your reputation with your own group. Today is specifically about how to grow your business and your reputation in other people's groups. And it turns out you can actually do this in a very nice, tasteful, mutually beneficial way. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So if you're here, grab that resource. You can open it up. You can print it if you want. And you can kind of follow along with us.
Exactly. And so for everyone that's just joining us, if you want to drop in what niche you're in, we can kind of give some feedback based on that, because today, again, growing groups, building know, like, and trust in other people's groups. So there are people that literally only get clients from other people's groups. They do not have their own group. They post a little on their profile, on their page, because of the attraction marketing that happens in other people's groups. So that's really what we're going to build upon today. So this is one of the steps in Jess's famous Facebook focus that we've been on. So where if you've missed, you can go back and catch up on those by going to sociallyinclined.com/takeaction. But that was basically profiles, stories, groups.
Yeah, it was groups at the bottom.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Groups, profile,
stories. And now, before we go into optimizing your business page next week, we are talking about how to do other people's groups.
Exactly. So, and the reason why she corrected me on that is because there was a specific order, because there's only so many hours in a day and you can't do everything. So now we're moving along. Once you've got those things dialed in, now we're going to look for potential connections that one will bring them back to your profile. Number two, from your profile, you're going to get them into your group. So again, there's a specific order to our madness here. So, all right. So I see this all the time in our groups. We talked about this on the group one, but basically we have people that join our group, and the other day one stood out and they were in like 1,137 groups. And that's a lot. Just in case you didn't know, that's a lot. What we suggest to do is to find groups that are in your niche. All right. So we're gonna pare back a minute and we're gonna talk about other people's groups. And again, why this is important. So the what. So always our Take Action Tuesdays follow the what, why, and how. The what is Facebook groups. So somebody says that's insane. Yes, it was insane. We talked about. So you have to go back and watch the replay. But we talked about how to unjoin those groups. So, and that would be important so that the ones that you really want to interact in show up in your feed. All right.
Yeah, because if you're honest, I think if anyone, even if you're not honest with yourself, 1,100 groups, there's just no possible way to be a contributor or even just to be a consumer of content from that many groups.
For sure. And when we were talking about groups in the previous group session, this applies to this as well, as far as Facebook is still all in on groups. We talked about the fact that they're advertising. Facebook doesn't have to advertise, but they have TV campaigns talking about groups and trying to get people to join like communities. So when you are thinking about the groups that you want to be a part of, then that is what you want to think about, where your target market will hang out. Okay, so from this aspect of why this is important, I've got to switch screens here. Sorry.
Yeah, and while she's doing that, I guess I can add a little something. So I'm accidentally part of a lot of groups, and that is because of what I do professionally. Someone will add me as a friend, and without fail, within 24 hours, they'll invite me to their beauty group or their fitness group or, you know, their mindset motivation group, whatever it is that they do, because I guess they're following that premise of, you know, I'm adding friends on Facebook every day and then I'm inviting them to my group, even though I'm not necessarily their target market, because, you know, they haven't watched our training about how to do that clearly. But for the longest time, I was too nice to decline the invite. So I actually have to do this quite often too, where I go back through and realize like I'm a part of a whole lot of groups that I've never even been to. I just clicked yes because, you know, I wanted to be nice. You know, but that is how you can end up in a lot of groups, but that's not necessarily beneficial, because when you get notified about groups, it's very similar to the algorithm. It's not going to notify you about everything. So in that sense, being a member of a bunch of groups that you never visit in some ways can do a disservice to the groups that you really would like to be a part of. And I know Julie and I feel this on our end of it as group owners of a group that actually provides a lot of value. I think a lot of people don't see our groups because they have that, or our group's content, because they have that going on too, where they're a member of so many groups that everything just gets so watered down. They can't possibly consume everything, and they're not seeing it because of the way Facebook structures what's in that group's notification.
Exactly. And the point of these trainings are for you to be able to take action and get a win. So if you're a member of so many, no matter how you got in them or whatever, so there's other ways to get in them, like you want to go and recon and join other people's groups so you can see what they're doing. That's fine. But back yourself back out of them when they're no longer a service to you, because with the how in this, we're wanting to show you how you can actively participate. And if you are not seeing the posts, or you're having to go to the group all the time just to interact, that is not good. So, so back on track with the what obviously is Facebook groups. We've decided that Facebook is all in on groups. That's where they want you to be. They're putting emphasis on reach for groups. But again, you have to be active in the groups that you want to get that reach from. So there are multiple types of groups. We talked about that on our own when we were choosing our own, whether it be secret or open or closed, basically. For the purposes of this, for visibility, the reason we got you to get your profile in line is because when you're active in those groups, people can come, they can check out your profile to be able to interact with you. So the whole point is to build know, like, and trust. So you want to be in the groups that are public, basically. Larger groups, and show off your expertise.
Yes, and the one caveat to that we mentioned here is larger groups, yes, but you want to be careful about just joining public groups. Because a lot of times those are not moderated very well. And if you want to talk about getting lost, and even if you post constantly, it's still going to be pretty much invisible because of the way those public groups are often trolled and spammed so much. So you want to look for a closed group that, you know, has a moderate membership level, where if you're just starting out, you know, you're putting your content out there, you have a chance of getting seen. But you can also do that in ways that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit.
Exactly. And if you think about our group as an example, we have days that you can promo. So because of the size of our group and because of the activity, you are able to be seen. And I would say that ours is a moderate to smaller size group. We have about 1,600 people. So that is kind of that sweet spot. I would say under 10,000 would be a good number. But on the flip side of that, I'm a part of a couple of groups that are huge, but I see the same people active within those groups. So they are making their impression upon me as a consumer in that group. So it makes me want to go and click on their profile and learn more about them. All right. So we really are kind of going out of order, but the why you would want to do this, we've kind of covered, but some of the reasons we've got outlined for you here are grow, practice, and try things out. So in other people's groups, you can test content basically and see how it performs. You can help your ideal community members. So you're wanting to put out good, again, you're thinking about you're building know, like, and trust here. Okay. So the ultimate goal is that you want to attract the person to know more about you and to want to work with you, no matter what niche you're in. If you're in health and fitness, skincare, I forgot what the one, empowerment. If you have a course, if you have a brick and mortar boutique, it doesn't matter. This all applies. You're trying to attract people back to you to learn more about you and ultimately, 7 steps down the line, do business with you.
Yeah, I got to, if I can just give like a personal example for any of you in the fitness niche, and it's easy to just change the fitness word to like skincare. And you can imagine what that example would look like for you if you're in the beauty or skincare niche. But when I was solely a fitness influencer, which is where I started, I had a blog and I would create recipes. And if you don't have a blog, if that seems to, if that's on your list for chapter 5 and you're only on chapter 1, that's not a big deal either, because you can put like blog recipes out as just a post and point back to it. But I would get in these healthy eating groups, people who are on like a transformational lifestyle. So any kind of plant-based group or low-fat group or anything that was appropriate for me, who maybe those people didn't know about my fitness products or the other things that were, in my, trying not to say the company, that were in my company. What I could do, though, I would obviously not make a post in those healthy eating groups saying, become a part of my challenge group and buy my whatever. But what I could do is say, I made look at this awesome low fat recipe that has this many calories or has like this particular benefit. And that was a great way to get people who, there would be thousands of people in these groups, but I was sharing a recipe. So then those people get onto my blog, and if, maybe 2% of them just decide that they're going to click around and really see what I'm about, that's the kind of win that you can get really quickly, especially if you have somewhere for them to come show you. And that could have easily been, I made this post on my personal profile with this recipe that is getting some really great results or whatever that people are really loving. Thought you might be interested. Check it out. And you could do the same thing with skincare where, maybe you did a tutorial and you put it on your personal profile and you just share it as helping your ideal community member because you're in that healthy eating group or you're in that trying not to age group, whatever it may be. Can you start a group from a business page?
Yes.
Yes,
you can. You can. You want to put your personal profile as an admin as well, just for several reasons, so that you can interact as both. But yes,
because people
do
business
with
people.
All right, we got it in this one. So in case you don't know, this is what I say every single day, multiple times a day. So, and again, to back it back up, the why is, because people do business with people. So that's why you want to interact in these groups and be human, approachable, build know, like, and trust. Okay. So again, that was a perfect illustration on how you can put out content that then attracts. So whether it be tutorials or recipes. So this doesn't have to be hard at all.
And it does not have to be salesy.
Correct.
In fact, the less salesy you can make it, the longer you will make it in someone else's group. Because I'll tell you right now, you will be very quick to get banned and ejected from a group if you try to be salesy. So that's not at all what we're suggesting.
Exactly. I would stress to never have intention of sales, only give value. And there are appropriate posts that you can sell on. So what happens is if you've been active in the group and people are consuming and seeing your content, when that sales post availability comes up, they will most likely see your content there. So that's kind of how that works together. Again, same no matter where you are online. Again, we're talking about other people's groups today, but this is true of everywhere, anywhere that you're posting. All right, so other types of content that you can post, or actually let's back up and talk about the same way we talk about having content categories. You should have content categories for when you're posting in groups. So think about, that'll help you to generate the content of what you can post in there. So again, inspirational, helpful, just commenting, it's always good to post, and we would suggest that you get a post plan together. But if you are not at that step, that's your chapter 5 and you're on chapter 1, just start providing value and talking to people. Comment, give feedback on whatever those posts are. So start it at 1 and move forward. So the more you can interact, the better off you'll be in that group. And again, you are choosing just a few groups that have your target market in it. So if you're a fitness person, you're not necessarily always looking for a fitness group. You're looking for the place that the people hang out, the moms, the mompreneurs, the people that have just had a baby that are trying to shed, the baby weight, the people that are over 50 that are having trouble with their metabolism. Think about where your people are hanging out and go find them and interact there. You wanted to say something, Jessica?
No, I was the whole sneeze when I pee thing came to my mind again. Because that's so popular with new moms trying to tighten that pelvic floor again. So I would strongly suggest that niche if a new mom is your target market. But Keith is here, so we won't talk too much about that. So Cassandra has a wonderful question. Do we want to take it and go for it? So my Julie can weigh in and correct me after I give my little 2 cents. But I would say that because you are not creating posts specifically for the group, it's more like sharing things that kind of already exist, and you're just kind of pointing back. That's the way I think is the most natural way to do it without feeling so icky and so incredibly promotionally. You're kind of just sharing and pointing back to what you already have. So in some cases, that wouldn't really have branding on it at all if you're just sharing a link. Because I don't imagine that you would be sharing. I don't know, Julie, you can correct me however you feel is appropriate. But I don't think you're going to be sharing something that a whole image that's fresh that you're just posting in that group that's branded to the 9 for you, unless it's on a specific marketing post, like we do Sell It Saturdays or Social Saturdays, whatever you want to call it.
Right. So some clarity on that or some examples would be if you are just posting inspiration, and it's fine. So if you're in a mommy group and you want to put out the top 5 exercises for a flat tummy or something like that. I would definitely not brand with your company. You could, if you have your name or some type of personal brand. I think that is wise, because we know how people pick up your posts and steal them and post them other places. So I always lean towards branded posts, but watermarked where they're light and whatever. Again, when they're in other people's groups. So just try to be really careful with that. When they're blogs, most of the time when you share a link, it's going to pull the blog image with it. So however it is on your website is how it would post there, unless you change it. If it is something that you're sharing off your website that you've posted, again, it can pull the image straight from there if you wanted to do that. So short answer is I would lightly brand personally, definitely not with your product or company, or like if it's Beachbody or if it's Unique or whatever it is. If you're direct sales, definitely not with those. So,
and keep it understated. Like I wouldn't put your picture and your brand name and a like website link also all in that image. You would just want like a watermark that could kind of create brand recognition over time, because this is all about social selling and attraction marketing without being in your face by this. So, because if you're doing it right, these people will come from this group and they'll land on your profile or your page, and they'll have no idea that you were selling something. They'll just be curious because you created interest or you provided some sort of value that really piqued their interest. So it should feel really natural.
And I do want to say that if you missed the profile, that is a key part of this. So you'll want to go back and get access to that, because again, this is attraction marketing and everything comes back to your profile. So we gave you ways to optimize your profile so that when they do check you out, they are seeing what you're about. Your cover is branded, your profile image that they're seeing is branded. They're immediately able to see what you're about once they get to your profile. So go back and watch that if you have not.
Cassandra wanted to know, and then I'll go back to Leslie asking about 50 plus. Would just a website link be too much? If you're talking about in the image, I think if it was someone in my group that was a competitor for us, or like they were obviously trying to pull people from our group, and they had a web link in the bottom of an image that they shared on a post that they created, I would be inclined to delete it. I don't really want to take the time to like go into all of that why I feel that way, but that seems like just a little too straightforward, especially if it's just an inspirational post and you're not providing really any other value around that. Julie, do you agree?
Yeah, no, I agree. I would, again, the whole point of interacting in groups is to provide the value and not the sales. You are just trying to pull people back to you and want to know more about you. It's not going to be most of the time, it's not going to be one post that does this. It's going to be multiple posts and them seeing you as a leader. You know, you get badges in other people's groups as well, whether they're conversation starters or whatever. That helps for you to stand out in that group. So as far as again, if it's light, maybe you can get away with the website. If it's on an inspirational post, I would say yes, you could. If it is a branded workout or something that's appropriate, you're really going to have to understate it if at all possible, though, because you're there to give value, so not to sell. The owners of the groups they'll
let you know.
Yeah, they will. And other people can report you as well. So
and definitely, Cassandra, I wouldn't make it your first post. Because for sure, like if someone, and it's so easy because I guess people don't realize that we approve the people and then we start seeing it. Sometimes people will hop in our group and then they immediately make a post. And whether it's a hard, like, I sell this, come join me, or if it's inspirational in nature, if their first post is a post that we didn't necessarily ask for, 9 times out of 10, it is going to be deleted. I don't think I'd ban someone over that in a first offense. But, just kind of depends. Let me hit Leslie real quick.
I need one follow-up thing. Okay. So sure. In a lot of groups, that you are encouraged to introduce yourself. And in some groups, it's either on a specific post that you're supposed to do that, or if it's out in the group. Again, they are giving you leeway there, and we give people a lot of leeway in those introductions because we want you to come in and, feel comfortable and share and interact in the group. So we need to get to know you to do that. And your business and what you do is part of that. So we did a previous on this as like writing your bio, writing your welcome as well. So be sure that that's not highly promotional here in other people's groups to do that. But you can definitely hint on what you do, and it does set yourself up to be the expert in what you do. All right, sorry.
For sure. Holly, the short answer is no, you do not have to post images. We're just responding to Cassandra's example and question out there. It doesn't have to be an image. And I think like you don't even have to necessarily put an organic post out there, especially not in the beginning. Right here, we're talking about the best way to add value is to add to the posts that are already there. The group member or the group owners, I know Julie and I, like, we want interaction. We want a comment, a like, an anything, a tag on any post because that helps more people see our content. So you can add value and get on a Facebook group owner's good list pretty quick if you just show up and you're consistently interacting with the content that's already there. And then later on down the road, if you feel led or if things seem appropriate, that's when you could enter like, I have this healthy recipe, I just couldn't help but share it kind of thing. Which would be a very soft sell because if someone was interested in that recipe, then they could click over and then they'd see my Facebook profile and then they'd see that I sell whatever and that they could join my 4-week healthy challenge right there. So that's how that's going to work.
A good example of, to kind of clarify this a little bit, would be that other people's posts, you're commenting on other people's posts. So let's say we'll use the fitness area again, since this is what we've been talking in so much, but if someone said, I've just had a baby, I've lost all but the last 10 pounds, and I just don't know what to do. That is where you are able to come in and weigh in at what you do and how, not necessarily don't pitch them, but just give them point, and just say, let me know how it works out for you. Again,
I've been there. It was hard. This is what I did. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Or, let me know how it goes.
Exactly. If the owners of the group have a post, weigh in, give your take on whatever, kind of work it into whatever your niche is. But again, you are not selling at all. Sales is not at all in the conversation here, unless it's a promo post. And there'll be posts like share your Instagram handle and promo, promotional, whatever. What's your freebie this week? Or
freebie Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. Social Saturday, drop your handles. Give as good as you get in groups as well. So on those posts, don't just drop your handle and then not go and like several other people. Those liking and following, like on an Instagram one, for instance, if you go, you can actually like leave a great comment on 3 or 4 of their posts if they're your ideal person and strike up a conversation with them. Basically, again, you're not selling. The comments that you're leaving are helpful type comments. But that's a very good way to make connections on Instagram, is to follow and then like and comment on several of their last, say, 6 or 8 posts.
I was just going to say, I don't think it's any secret that our mission at Socially Inclined is to cultivate value-driven and service-led entrepreneurs. So we are just assuming that you are a value-driven and service-led entrepreneur with this, with today's training, because you just cannot do this. You will get banned really fast if you're not service-led and value-driven.
And not even in other people's groups where you're worried about being banned, but just in general, you will not be successful at social media if you are not
bringing the value.
Exactly. It just will not work. You cannot put out, I just did a training last week. You cannot just put out post after post after post of buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You will train people to scroll right by. On your personal, that is the same in a group if you don't get banned. So let's say you find a group that is just straight up post after post of everybody free for all, selling. Number one, people are not consuming that content. And number two, you're not going to be seen because that group is just gone away. It's gone off the chain, basically. So when you're choosing groups, choose groups that have good ownership or leadership within the group, and don't let that free for all happen.
All right, I have to get to Leslie. I have been looking at your comment for 10, 15 minutes now. So you're over 50 and you want to know where to find that middle-aged woman. So I would, if that were my niche, I would look at some of the menopause groups. I know that sounds crazy, but those are big. Those are just like huge. And the women are so engaged in there. We actually had a social media client who was creating a like menopause movement, and it was so fun and inspiring. So find some menopause groups. Mm-hmm. That might sound crazy, but that is probably where your ideal client is. You can also look to like wine groups, or the other one is like empty nesters.
I was going to say Linda is not here, I don't think. Or maybe she is, but she's just started an empty nesters group. So she would be a great group to provide value in and hopefully attract, back to your profile.
Yes. So I was just reading because we have lots of comments.
Pets is another thing, even though that's kind of off. There's so many people that love their pets and whatever. So if you can find anything surrounding that, any hobbies that are, I'm trying to think of a good example. YOLO type group,
knitting.
Yeah, crafts. Oh,
but crocheting. People my age do that as well.
They do, so. Especially now. It's like a big deal now, I think.
But you will attract your people. So if it's a larger group, there will be people of your age range, your ideal client age range in there. So
we stress to try to really carve out. If you can only be active in one, choose the best one and be active in it. If you're not getting, or let's say you start working in it, and then you can devote just a little bit more time to add one more and just do a little in that one. You'll be able to, if you have 2 or 3 going, you'll be able to see where you're getting traction at. So test, test. And again, you're giving value. So it doesn't take long to really, come in and make it a point during the day to comment on 10 posts. Like set some type of goal for yourself. And don't be robotic, like really put your heart into it.
For sure. And Savita, I think that's up to you. Financially Savvy obviously tells you exactly what you're teaching people to be savvy about. Simply Savvy is a little more understated. So it's, that's up to you. That's not the kind of branding we're talking about, but like putting in your web address might be too much. But if you're just talking about like what you call yourself in your logo, I don't think that's
yeah,
too
I think
much.
either one would be fine. And, if you can get to the place where you're creating specific content for other people's groups, just, again, make them be more watermarked where they're really liked, would be the thing to do. And I don't think there's a problem with having financially savvy, as opposed to simply savvy.
For sure. And Holly, you're exactly right. That's actually something Julie and I were talking about, is the opportunity when you do this to practice your pitch. And we actually have a little frustration going on because we want people talking in our group so much, and we give people the opportunity to practice their pitch or their sale. And a lot of people are really silent about it. But you're right. It's a great way to build confidence around talking about what you do, because a lot of times you don't realize just how green or inept is the shortfall. Adept is when you're good at it. So how inept you are at really clearly explaining in 1 minute what you do. And that's why, we provide that opportunity in our group. A lot of people aren't taking advantage of it. So if you're here today and if you're watching on replay, get in the group and use that opportunity, because if you sell fitness, you never know. I mean, we've got lots of people in our group, and not all of them sell fitness.
Yeah. And really everybody, we always say niche down, niche down, niche down. But when you come into a group like that, you never know whose interest you may spark that might be just on the right day. They're like, yes, I need to do something today,
Yeah. Yep. And I liked the way this person commented.
Right. Because you made that connection. You're sparking connections.
So Leslie, you travel by RV. That is amazing. So yeah, dog lover, and then also like fitness on the go. That's what attracts me so much to the at-home fitness, because I live 45 minutes from the closest grocery store, let alone gym that I'd be willing to go to. So going to a gym is just out of my wheelhouse, and your ideal client would be similar.
Right.
And showing book club groups
to do it on the road, to do like quick mobile lessons or whatever, even in your RV, show how easy it is. So we have an RV too, so we travel.
Savita, I'm so glad you think we're awesome sauce. We're going to have to ask you to write that down in a review, and we'll put you on all of our sales pages. Holly, yep. I know, I get it. I mean, I consider myself pretty good at motivational speaking and being in the spotlight, but there are still times where I freeze and I have that like self-doubt. So the only way to work through that is to practice.
The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And just know that everybody's human. So you may stumble, stammer, whatever. It's okay. People cut you a little slack. You may even comment in a group and it be completely wrong. It's okay. Come back and say, you know what? You're right. You can delete the comment if you want to, but just say it makes you human.
Mm-hmm. So. For sure. All right. What do we have left, Julie?
We really so the resource that you dropped kind of goes over, but we've really touched on most things. We just gave you four ways to add value. So, and I'm just going to read them really quick. Help fellow group members by providing feedback, answers, and interaction. So again, that's the same thing. Commenting on other people's things. They're looking for feedback. They're looking for community as well. So give them that. Congratulate and celebrate with other group members with achievements. So a lot of people want to come in, and that's another thing for you too. You might come in, and again, I hate to keep being on the fitness thing, but you might come in with a, celebrate my win type post. I've lost, I'm down, 6 pounds this month or whatever it is. So that's a way to do it. And then, but be sure to congratulate the other people that are doing that. Be there. So I touched on that. Be there every day in order to become known by the group owner and its top members. So the more you show up, the more value you provide, the more visible you will be, the more your comments will be shown to the consumers or the people that are viewing in the group. So provide value. And By the same token, something we didn't touch on, but when you know the group owners, there's opportunities that you may be asked. I know not too long ago, I know someone that was asked to be able to speak and do a live within a group because they had been giving so much value and the topic was on topic within the group. So you never know. You can be asked to speak or give a freebie or whatever, be highlighted in some way. Perfect. All right. And then the last one. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, because you got through all 4 of them, right? You just did be open to opportunities. Oh, yeah. Okay.
With the opportunities to collaborate with JVs. And that's kind of the same as with the owners. There may be other people like you, or they have their own group that are in a bigger group, and then they might invite you out to do some kind of joint venture or speak or live or whatever. So you never know what can come of interacting in a group.
For sure. And so the next section, only read or only do the next section once you have done the first 4. I cannot stress that enough. We've put that there now that you've added so much value. Now that you've done these 4 things and everything we've talked about, that is whenever you can go forth and do some very gentle attraction marketing type posts that we've already talked about pretty much at length. And if you take nothing else away from this, take my ninja tip there, because it will save you, some potential embarrassment, some potential getting banned from groups. And you're on a socially inclined live training. So we don't want anyone who's socially inclined to fall into that category of being a bad interactor.
Oh, Vita's got asked to co-host an Investing 101 webinar. Perfect example.
Exactly.
Perfect example. I was asked to speak and do a training in another group. So you never know. But
can I answer Holly's question?
Yes, I must have missed it. Sorry, Holly.
So a little background on me. When I graduated from college, I went to China as a Fulbright scholar, and I actually did. So I got to work a lot like this, and I got to find a lot of groups like this. And this was before Facebook really had that many groups. But I think if you went to Holly's question is, have you any suggestions for groups where people who have immigrated to the U.S. might hang out? I am an English teacher. Right off the bat, I would say ESL and anyone who are trying to take the TOEFL tests or things like that, where you could add some value. I had to be in groups like that a lot because of my mission or my charge that I was doing postgraduate. But that would be my first recommendation. And then second, if there's a particular immigrant background that you specialize in. So if it's going from Spanish to English, or for me, it was people who speak Chinese and are trying to assimilate and learn to thrive in the American culture, then that was like Chinese culture groups and things like that for me. So if you have that particular background, I would go for some of those groups too, Holly. Does that help?
That was perfect, actually.
Okay.
It was perfect for me. Holly, I hope that helped. Yep. So your take action is it's not on here, but to think of, if you have to start small and just pick one, think about who your target market is, go find a group that has a lot of commenting and posts by other people, not just the administrators. Even if it is administrators and you see a ton of comments, that might work. But we want you to find a group that has guest posting as well, basically. So go forth and try to find something. Make sure that your profile is in order, so that way when the people are coming back to you, they know what you do. And just start giving value. Start small. Just comment, and don't comment just to be commenting, but set a goal to have 10, if it's 10 a day. go in twice a day so that you're not doing them all at one time if you can, and really give value, give your personal perspective, and, like other people's comments. You don't necessarily have to comment on all of them, but comments are weighted more than likes. Okay, comments will get you seen.
For sure.
All right, so any last questions for today? Hopefully that is clear. This is one of the best opportunities for growth and for selling, even though you're not supposed to be selling. It is the greatest opportunity, I think, on social media, short of ads.
Exactly. I just want to say that if you missed our Facebook optimization training, if you were not here for that one, that really is how you make this work. So if your Facebook profile does not speak to what you do and it's not capturing leads for you currently, then this is going to fall way more flat than it would otherwise. So I would strongly encourage you, if you weren't here for the Facebook optimization training, we still are offering these for ridiculously low price. So go back and get access to all the trainings. You can find those at sociallyinclined.com/take action. Right now, they're $2 a training. Later in the year, they will be $37 a training. So we're really trying to award you guys for showing up early in the year and trying to make things happen. Right. But if your profile is not optimized, you need to go back and watch that training.
Yep. Some of the things we cover: your profile picture, your cover image, and how you can make it look like it has a button and a link, and lots of stuff that set you up as the expert.
Exactly what your pinned post should kind of do, and what these, how to do that intro section and the bio to where it speaks to what you need.
For sure.
Oh, Holly, so these trainings, we do offer replays. You go to sociallyinclined.com/take action. I think this is our 9th one. So we're already well over delivering for what we're currently selling access to the replays for.
Right.
So I think you'll find that to be really valuable. And even if you've been on these, if you need a refresher, it's a great opportunity to grab them while they're still $2 a piece.
Yep. And again, the whole reason for this is to give you something that you can implement this week. So, and when you see, oh my goodness, if you go make a connection in a group, and 3 weeks from now it comes into a sale, that's ROI on your taking action today. Okay.
Exactly.
So, and obviously things can happen a lot more swiftly than that when you're really given value, but just want to give you an opportunity to get the win. The win is what keeps you going. We talk about mindset a lot too. And when you go in these groups and you're not getting the traction that you feel like you deserve, push through it and keep going. The more you show up, the easier it gets, and the more you'll be seen. It's not a one post wonder, for sure. You're going to have to put some skin in the game to really make this work.
Exactly.
But literally 5 minutes a day, and you can make this work.
Yes. Holly, we're so glad that you let us know you're new. I felt like you were new, but we're so glad you're here. And don't forget, we have office hours, which I'm going to suggest we change the name of that to Coffee and Questions, because that just seems a lot less nerdy. But
office hours, people don't realize what it is, but basically it's an ask us anything.
So it's like this, except for a lot of times, it's 10 to 2 or 20 to 2. So it's very, very intimate, and we talk about whatever the people who show up live want to talk about. And we do put those replays in the toolbox, which is available at sociallyinclined.com/free if you haven't signed up, or you can sign back in at sociallyinclined.com/library.
You are a perfect fit, Holly, then.
Yeah. That's what we always like to say, that because our most inquisitive people on these Take Action trainings end up being the most fun to hang with on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm. Thursdays, this is pretty structured. Thursdays are not Thursdays are just wherever the wind takes us. So,
yeah. All right. Well, with that, let's stop the recording and then we can chit chat with those who want to hang around.
Yep. So thank y'all for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.